Writing an equation of the form A times B plus X equals C to solve a word problem. Sorry, I should have said the sum of X plus B in there because X plus B is in parentheses. Okay, so we're going to write an equation in a certain form, so this specific form, and we're going to do that from a word problem. I know a lot of students stress out a bit about word problems. Word problems just give you context to what it is you're learning. So it is kind of nice to sometimes hear a word problem and go, oh, okay, that's kind of how I might use this in the real world. Otherwise, it's just numbers that we have no meaning for. So if I come down here and I just show you the equation, this doesn't necessarily mean anything. But if I give you a story to it, then it all of a sudden gives meaning. So the story they're giving us is 4 friends went out to lunch. They each started with the same amount of money, and they spent $6. They ended with a combined total of $12. How much did each of them have to start? So we don't know how much they started with, but we do know they each spent $6, and we know that there were 4 of them. We also know that they have a combined total of $12. So altogether, all 4 friends have $12 left. And they want to know, okay, well, what did they start with? So now we need to come down here, and this is what they want us to answer. So part A, it says, write an equation that could be used to answer the question above. First, choose the appropriate form. So we have to choose one of these 2 forms. Are we going to add or subtract something? Then fill in the blanks with the numbers, 4, 6, and 12. Let X represent the amount in dollars each person had to start. Remember, we don't know how much they had to start. We know that each person started with the same amount, but we don't know what that amount is. So then we have to decide, are we adding or are we subtracting? Well, because I know they spent money, that tells me that we're going to be subtracting. They spent it. We're going to take something away. So X is how much they started with. They each spent $6. So that tells me that we're probably going to put 6 in here because we have to subtract 6 from whatever they started with. I know my total at the end. They told me the combined total is 12. And what I need to do is figure out what goes in here. Well, they told me it's going to be 4, 12, 4, 6, and 12. So, and remember, there was 4 friends to start with. So we had 4 people, all with the same amount of money, all that spent $6 each. So we have to say, what is their amount of money minus 4 or minus 6, because they each spent $6. And then we have to multiply whatever that number is by 4 in order to get 12, because altogether they have $12 left. And it is divided evenly for them too, because they each started with the same, they each spent 6, so each of them will actually have the same amount at the end, which is kind of an interesting idea there. But because normally if you go to a restaurant or wherever it is they're going, you don't normally spend the exact same amount of money. So it says they're going out to lunch. So we have our equation now. We filled in our blanks, and then we're going to solve our equation. So we have 4 times X minus 6 equals 12, and we start solving this. So first, we have to distribute this 4. So we're going to have 4x minus 24. And remember, distribute just means multiply. And that equals 12. I didn't do anything with 12. We don't distribute the 4 all the way across the equal sign, only to what's in the parentheses that the 4 is next to. So now I want to start solving for this x. So I'm going to start moving things away from it. So I'm going to add 24 because that's how you undo this subtraction. But whatever I do to the left side of the equation, I have to do to the right side. So I'm going to add 24 over there as well. I'm going to bring down 4x, negative 24 plus 24. Same number. They're opposites. So when we subtract, we get 0. Equals, and now we have 12 plus 24, so we get 36. Our last step here is to divide by 4 because I want to undo the multiplication of 4x. Whatever I do to the left side, I have to do to the right. So 4 divided by 4 becomes 1. Any number divided by itself becomes 1. And then x drops down by itself, which is exactly what we wanted. And then we have 36 divided by 4. So they don't give you a calculator on this one. You're welcome to have a calculator off to the side. But if you know your times tables, makes it so much faster. So you can just say that it's 9. You don't necessarily have to pull out a calculator for that one. We do have practice for times tables if you want to practice those. But it does make it much faster if you know your times tables, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I need a calculator right this moment. So the answer to x is 9. They each started with $9, and then they each spent $6. So now they have $12 left together. So there was another way, and I want to show you this one really quick, because we had 4 times x minus 6 equals 12. So I distributed the 4. But what I could have done was divided by 4. I could have done this division first to move this 4 out from in front. And then remember, there's still two sides. If I'm doing this to undo this multiplication, I have to do the same thing to the other side. So now I can cross off these 4s. Any number divided by itself cancels. It has to be multiplication in order for that to work. I couldn't have a 6 on the bottom and cross off that 6 because that 6 is being subtracted. So make sure it has to be multiplication division in order for that to work. And then I can just bring down x minus 6 because now that's by itself and I don't need the parentheses anymore because nothing's being multiplied. Equals 3, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now all I have to do is add 6 on both sides to get x all by itself. So x comes down. 6 minus 6, they're opposites, so when I subtract, I get 0. And 3 plus 6 is 9. So I got the exact same answer this way. It just depends on which way makes it a little easier for you. I wanted to show you this because I know a lot of students don't see it this way. But you could divide, if you have a distribution problem like this, you could divide by whatever that number is on both sides first, and then just solve it without having to distribute. So it's just one of those options that we do have. All right, if we scroll down, we see that they put in exactly what we had. So let's go ahead and start this. So we have LaShonda paid a total of $42 for 7 frozen meals. She had a coupon for $6 off regular price of each meal. Each meal had the same regular price. What was the regular price of each meal? So we don't know what the regular price is. They keep throwing that word out there. So now let's see. They want us to write an equation that could be used to answer the question above. First, choose the appropriate form. Then fill in the blanks with the numbers 42, 7, and 6. And let P represent the regular price in dollars. So we already know P is going to be regular price or just price. We don't know what the regular price is. We do know LaShonda paid a total of $42. So that does tell me that 42 should probably go in the end. We need to choose which one. I haven't chose a form yet. So I'm just writing it on both. And she did that for 7 frozen meals. So we know how many she bought. She bought 7 of them. And she had a coupon for $6 off. So she bought 7 frozen meals and $6 off. Off tells me it's going to be a subtraction sign. So I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use subtraction. And I want to take the regular price and I want to take $6 away from it. And that'll tell me how much she paid for every meal. How many meals did she buy? 7. So we just have to break down the problem and fill in the blanks here. And they're already telling us the form, which is kind of nice. We don't have to come up with a full form. We just have to make sure we fill it in correctly. All right, so we have 7p minus 6 equals 42. All right, so I'm gonna do this one the opposite. I'm not going to distribute. I'm going to show you this division thing again. I have this 7 times p minus 6. Think of p minus 6 in parentheses as one number. So it's 7 times a number. Even though I don't know what p is, as soon as I find out what the price is, I would subtract and I'd have one number. So the parentheses make it one thing. So I can divide by 7 on both sides of the equal sign. Remember, there's 2 sides here. 7 divided by 7 cancels, and I can bring p minus 6 down. I don't need the parentheses anymore. Nothing's being multiplied or divided because I canceled them. 42 divided by 7 is 6. So now I'm going to add 6 on both sides, right? So let's see. I'm going to add 6 on both sides because I'm trying to get p all by itself. That's always my goal, no matter what. So I'm going to add. P comes straight down. Negative 6 plus 6, they're opposites. So when I subtract, they become 0, which is what we wanted to happen. 6 plus 6 is 12. So the original price of the meals was $12. All right, so let's go ahead and check. I need to fill in my blanks here. So I have 7, 6. It does help if you don't write over the top with a pen tool, because I'll have to maybe write it below there next time so that I'm not writing right over the top. And let's check that. And we're good to go. So this method does work, and it's a little less messy than the distribution. We don't always have this option. We just have this option on these ones it works out nicely because there is a number on the other side that divides nicely by the number that we're supposed to distribute. So I'll distribute on this one just so that you have another example of distribution. So for 4 days, Carlos put $3 in a savings. So we have 4 days. Carlos put $3 into a savings account each day. Every single day he put $3 in. His parents also added a certain amount of money to the account each day. So a certain amount of money each day. We don't know what this certain amount of money is, but they added something to it every day. In the end, there was a total of $36. So we have a total here of $36. How much money did Carlos's parents add each day? All right, so we're going to write an equation. But first we have to choose the appropriate form. Are we adding or subtracting? And then we're going to fill in the blanks with 4, 3, and 36. We're going to let X represent the amount of money that Carlos's parents put in every day because we don't know how much they put in every day. So we know they put something in, and then we know that Carlos added $3 every day. So to me, this is an addition problem. He added $3 every day. So I'm not going to subtract from this one. I'm going to add Carlos's parents' money plus his money. And then how many days did he do that for? 4 days. So we're going to put a 4 in this box. And I'm putting it underneath just so it's not in my way when I go to type these in. And then we know his total was 36 because they told us he has a total of $36 at the end. So here we have our equation. 4x plus 3 equals 36. All right, so now I'm going to distribute on this one just so that you can see distribution. So we're going to take this 4 and we're going to multiply by everything in the parentheses here. So we have 4x, for 4 times x, plus 4 times 3, and we get 12. We're not going to distribute it to the 36. That's outside of the parentheses, and it's on the other side of the equal sign anyway. So only the things that are in the parentheses. And then we're going to start to solve this. So now we want to get x by itself. I'm going to start undoing addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of this equal sign. And I get 4x brought down. Positive 12, negative 12, they're opposites. So when I subtract, I get 0. And this is going to equal, we want 36 minus 12. So we get 24. And now I'm going to divide by 4 because I want to undo the multiplication here. And 4 divided by 4, or any number divided by itself, is 1. So x just gets brought down, and that's going to equal 6. So Carlos's parents put in $6 every day. He put in 3, so they doubled his money. They put in twice the amount he put in every day. That's pretty darn nice. I would take that deal any day. That's a pretty good darn deal. All right, $6. And like I said, you're actually doing the same steps as you would be if I did divided by 4 first. This is just we're multiplying by 4, then subtracting 12, then dividing by 4. So we do have one extra step in this one than we do in the other one. So I do prefer the other method just because it's one less step. All right, let's go check. And we have one more of these. Okay, so Melissa had a part-time job and gets paid the same amount each hour. So she gets paid the same amount each hour. Do we know how much she gets paid each hour? No, that's the part they're leaving blank here. For each hour she works, she puts $9 aside for her mom. So every hour she puts $9 aside. So she makes at least $9. Hopefully she makes more than that. Melissa works 3 hours a day. So we know how many hours she works a day, how much she puts aside for her mom. We don't know how much she gets paid every hour. And the total amount she keeps each day is $18. So she keeps $18 a day. How much does she get paid each hour? All right, so write an equation that could be used to answer the question. First, choose the appropriate form. So we have to choose, is it plus or minus? And then fill in the blank with the numbers 9, 3, and 18. And let H represent how much she makes every hour, because we don't know that, right? So we know H is the number that she makes every hour, and then we know she puts $9 aside for her mom. So that doesn't sound like a plus or minus, but if she's putting it aside, she's taking that away from what she's keeping. So we want to use a minus. So she's going to take $9 away from however much she's making every hour. And every hour that she works, she does this. So we need to know how many hours does she work? Well, she works 3 hours every day. And I just wrote that on the box, and I said I wasn't going to do that because it gets in my way. So let me write it underneath the box. Boom. All right. And then we know she has a total of, so it says total amount. I forgot to underline total amount of $18 a day. So whenever you're total, that generally tells you it's going to be the equal part because it's the end. It's what the whole thing equals, the total. All right. So let's go ahead and write this out on this side. All right. So I'm going to use my other method where I'm moving this 3 first because it's 3 times this quantity here, this amount. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides of the equal sign. Boop. 3 divided by 3 cancels. It turns into 1. Any number divided by itself turns into 1. So now I can just bring down h minus 9 because nothing's being multiplied. I don't need the parentheses. 6 divided by 3, or sorry, 18 divided by 3 is 6. I started to say the answer there. And then all we have to do to get h by itself now is add 9 to both sides because I want to undo that subtraction. So I have h equals 6 plus 9 is 15. So she makes $15 every hour. So I just need to fill in my boxes here. And she makes $15. And she puts 9 aside for her mom. What a nice girl. Another pretty good deal. I'd take that as a mom, although that seems like a lot, but hey, very nice girl here. All right, we finished another one.